What was the feedback you got from teams looking at you as a receiver?
It's a lot of things I need to work on both sides of the ball. So
What do you think you need to work on most?
you can always work on technique. So I definitely need to work on technique, and it's a couple more small things.
And then what do you think about the potential of being an NFL player who plays both wide receiver and DB? How important is that for you?
That's super important to me. I've been doing it my whole life, so I would like for them to let me give me the opportunity to do it again.
There's a lot of conversation about you, potentially the number 1 overall pick. How do you manage all of that as you go through this process?
I kind of don't look at that stuff. I just look at fishing all day. So
What do you see on fishing?
I just see people catching fish. I can't wait to get back home and catch me some fish too.
I love it. We can't wait for that too. Thanks so much, Travis.
No problem. Thank you.
He told me he's going after the largemouth bass, so he really can do it all, right? As a corner, he allowed just 1 touchdown in coverage, and his 4 interceptions were top 3 in the Big 12. And as a receiver, all he did was set the Colorado single-season record with 15 touchdowns last year. He made defenders miss on 27 tackles after he caught the ball, tied for the 4th most in the FBS. The Titans and Browns, the teams with the top 2 picks in the draft, seem to have very different opinions on how to use Hunter at the next level.
He probably starts at corner, and then you find ways to interject him into the offense as he gets more comfortable. He plays more and more offensively. But I think his corner is probably his starting point. In my opinion, you might get varying opinions on that.
In terms of Travis Hunter, cornerback or receiver, the answer is yes. We would see him as a receiver primarily first. But I think part of, again, what makes him a bit of a unicorn is the fact that he can do both at a high level.
Our draft analyst, Field Yates, joining us now. And one other thing that Hunter had said to me is that in meeting with all the teams he's met with, Field, they either view him as a wide receiver or a DB. No one has mentioned so far playing both. But what is the best position for Travis Hunter in your mind?
I think Andrew Barry's got to decide this up correctly. I would actually want to work Travis Hunter on both sides of the ball, but I believe the path to becoming a Pro Bowl player may exist more as a wide receiver for Travis Hunter. He is the most natural playmaker in this entire class and probably over the last few classes. He runs good enough routes. What really stands out to me is the catch skills. You actually saw a highlight when we were running it in the beginning of this segment against North Dakota State, where they tried to run this fade on the goal line to him on first down. Didn't work. 2 plays later, what do they do? The exact same thing. There's going to be some questions about how strong is Travis Hunter. How much does he weigh, which we'll find out officially over the next couple of days here. Other than play strength was totally fine on tape. His ball skills are elite, of course. I think he'd be an excellent cornerback, but I believe the biggest upside for Travis Hunter is at wide receiver.
Well, there's definitely financial upside to playing wide receiver versus corner, and I'm sure that factors into things. And let me be clear, he is a very good receiving prospect, so I don't disagree with you. But I actually think he could be an all-pro as a corner and pretty damn quickly, which is a wild thing to say about a player who has not stepped foot in the NFL. But let me tell you, his tape is wild. The athleticism, obviously, is what leaps off of it, both in terms of his long speed, the recovery speed, the change of direction. I mean, that pick was insane. The ball skills are extraordinarily, immediately one of the best corners in the NFL in terms of ball skills. But what really jumped out to me, Lewis, watching his tape, his football IQ, in zone coverage, his route recognition, the way he reads quarterbacks, it's pretty special stuff. And I just feel like he's going to come in and be an incredible pro from the jump.
And he's not going to come off the field. So he's going to be someone who immediately you're going to say, hey, look, we can play whatever discipline we want. We can play man zone, we can play press, we can play off. And he's going to understand route concepts at an advanced level because of the fact that he plays wide receiver. So he understands what route concepts are trying to attack. He anticipates them. He's always a step ahead. The thing that's cool about Travis also is you've seen this guy hit. He is not afraid to tackle. So he's not a liability in any way. Now, offensively, you can pick your spots how to work him in there. Do you want him to be in your 11 personnel package? Do you want him to be in your 10 personnel package? Do you want him to be a guy who like maybe in a specialty way comes in your 12 personnel? And you can kind of pick and choose how to bring him along to develop, and kind of like shorten his learning curve. And I think you can still get the best of both worlds. There's no way I would limit him. There's no way I would limit him to just one side of the ball. We use the word transcendent, right, all the time in our business. And a lot of times it doesn't really apply.
Yeah.
It applies here. This dude's a freak, and you have to treat him as such with kid gloves to make sure you're getting the best out of him. But right away, you put him on the field at corner, he's going to be in the Pro Bowl his first year.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Field, some of this has to do with team need too. Like if you look at these teams, whether it's the Titans, the Browns, maybe somehow he falls to the Giants, who knows? How much does that factor into the way that you see him as a wide receiver primarily?
I think the plan at the beginning is going to be very team dependent, right? The Browns have kind of already cast their die, and the Titans, I suppose, have done the same in saying, at least in Brian Callahan's words, they see him more as a corner than a wide receiver. I think where teams are going to land, though, and this is where I personally would land as well, is the best way to figure out if he can't do it is to let him try and potentially fail. Like, you might as well at least give him some reps and opportunities on both sides of the ball. We're not talking about a guy, again, to Lewis's point, who is, you see him dabble on one side of the ball in college and play predominantly on the other side of the ball. Chris Gamble from Ohio State, he transitioned from wide receiver to corner at the college level, then became a corner in the NFL. We saw Charles Woodson mixed in on offense. Every snap, 115 snaps per game for Travis Hunter. I think you have to understand not just the physical skill set that requires, the determination, the mental acuity to learn both sides of the playbook, right? You're going to double the meetings. You have to have double the understanding from a football instinct standpoint. I think I would just let it settle itself or figure itself out at the NFL level before I decide definitively, when he hasn't even put a jersey on for my team, hey, he's only going to be this.
Yeah. Look, the hardest thing to do, I believe, in the NFL is to prevent explosives because there's so many freaks playing wide receiver. You have to have an antidote to that. You have to have a counter to that. He's a counter to that. Offensively, if you gave Travis 5, 6, 7 targets a game, you probably are going to get 2 or 3 that are plus 20 at some point. Because, and it doesn't have to be the long ball. You saw the stats right there as far as his run after catch. He's going to create the explosives for you anyway. Yeah. So, to me, that's why I'm saying, look, of course you don't limit him. But defensively, I'm putting him on the field right away, and I'm going, unless you're dog tired and you got to come out, you ain't coming out on that side of the ball.
I love your point about preventing explosives because I really believe as a cornerback, he is the type of player that alters your offensive game plan, which is so rare when we talk about cornerbacks in this league. But because of his ball skills as well as his recovery speed, the way he times his jumps when he plays the football, quarterbacks are not going to throw at him. I really believe that in the NFL, and thus you have to make a entirely different game plan.
How many quarterbacks are just going to throw it up and go, I'm hoping to get the PI again?
No.
He's like a wide receiver, so he's probably not going to commit the PI.